Welcome in to the Fantasy Friends podcast. We have
Ooh.
a true fantasy friend with us today,
Mm-hmm.
Keith. A bitter rival, a friend as well, but more so a friend of me, I think we could call him, Keith, what's going on, my man? Thanks for coming back. You're muted, brother.
We lost you already.
He gone. Can't hear you. Jason, while he fixes that, okay, he's going to come back. Jason, what's up, man?
I'm living strong. Just, I had this weird dream, man. I had this really weird dream that I was this little known quarterback, kind of found his way into the NFL. Ended up playing for one of the biggest teams in all of sports history. Definitely one of the most expensive. And man, they just wouldn't get me a contract. They didn't believe in me. And I just kept playing. I mean, this was a terrible dream. I'm just telling you, I kept playing and I couldn't get any love from this team. And then finally, they said, you know what? You're our guy. And I took them all the way to the playoffs, man. And then at the end, there was 14 seconds left on the clock. And I snapped the ball. And something possesses me, comes over me, and makes me run. QB draw, right up in the middle. I go down. I look up. Clock's gone. Take the ball, and I spike it after the game's over, and I woke up.
Ooh.
And it was something. Let me just say, it's something I would hope no one would ever have to experience or take part in.
Are you done? You finished? God, yeah. Keith, we can hear you now, I think.
I apologize. It sounded like you guys were underwater. I don't know
man.
what was going on.
You sound freaking awesome now. What's going on, brother? Thanks for coming back on.
Oh, no problem, man. I'm doing great, man. How about you guys? I'm sure I missed something in the, while you guys were drowning.
We don't need to relive it at all. Jason just decided to stab me with 1,000 needles that were not dipped in poison per se, but just a tiny bit of pink sea salt, the Himalayan pink.
Yeah, that hurts.
And he pretended he was Dak Prescott, which he could never be as talented or as
I was just having a bad dream, man. That's all it was.
I hate you. Did you know that? Like literally.
That game was something, man.
I want you to.
Dallas should have never lost that game. I mean, so sloppy. So sloppy.
We'll talk about it here in a second. I'm going to try and not relive it as much as possible.
Fair.
First and foremost, we have our first segment. Y'all know the segment. It's our You Talking Good. We're going to talk a little news, rumors, notes. Honestly, we don't really have a lot to talk about today. We're going to get to know Keith a little bit more. Keith doesn't know that yet, but he just found out. 7-2. Should there be 7 teams in the playoffs when they were outscored? Let me see here. I believe it was 73-36. The 7-seeded teams were. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jason.
There was teams that I think should have been in the playoffs that just were either coached poorly or. You look at the Vikings. I mean, look how every game they lost in the fourth quarter. Just one play makes or breaks them so many times. There were so many teams that probably were more fitting that just didn't get there.
I look at the 7 seed like I look at, the play-in games for the NCAA tournament. Like, there's going to be a 7 seed one year that's going to win a Super Bowl. On a long enough timeline, it's going to happen. Pittsburgh's won it from the 6th. I believe Baltimore won it from the 6th.
The Giants won it from the 6th.
The Giants won it from the 6th.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen enough to go, what we need is more on the border teams. I mean, it's just about money. Get another playoff game on TV. I get it, but the quality of the games was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's listening to stuffed crust pizza ads right now?
Sorry about that.
Jason?
Sorry about that.
We're doing a podcast. Don't you know that?
I didn't think you could hear it.
I could hear it loud and clear. We're not authorized to advertise for stuffed crust pizza, no matter what the company is.
If somebody wants to give us stuffed crust pizza money,
Oh man, I'll
We'll do
take
it.
it.
yeah,
I don't care what it is.
That's
I don't care if it's Totino's or those little tiny shit plastic ones that you can warm up in the microwave. Hey,
I'm so ghetto. I love Totino's pizzas. Love them. You used to be able to get them for like $1.
yes, you could.
yes.
I used to work at Kroger in like 2006, I want to say. And that would be my lunch most days. I'd take my little lunch break. I'd get 2 of those tiny Totino's pizzas and warm up, the little tray that
It's
folds
called
out.
Yeah.
it's called a party pizza. It makes it
was
even
a
more
party in my
dope.
mouth.
Yeah, it makes it even more dope. It's the party pizza.
It's
Hell
the
yeah.
saddest party of all time. But I'm going. I'm going every time.
I'm going to every one of those parties.
Keith, I don't know if you have the show doc pulled up in front of you, but you did have a question for Jason and I. I'd like to hear it.
Just out of curiosity, I was looking because we gotta get a quarterback, and I'm shopping.
He's shopping.
Who do you guys think made some money? I mean, I know playoffs aren't over, and right now I'm thinking OBJ every game he plays is just adding on to his, letting Robert Woods go and keeping him kind of deal. But like, I was just looking at some guys. Everybody knows, Devontae Adams was going to make money. Chris Godwin, even with the torn ACL, he's going to get the Allen Robinson deal. But I mean, there's some guys that you wouldn't have expected if I'd said, hey, start of 2021, who's going to get a kind of a big deal? Like James Conner.
Yeah.
Right? I think James Conner's going to make a ton of money. You guys got anybody in mind?
Jason, you want to field this one first? Because I actually have about 4 folks.
Yeah, because I got 1 or 2 that I would never have thought that I'd be willing to pay.
Mm-hmm. They better not be running backs. That's all I got to say.
Maybe 1.
I'm not sure how many.
I'm all for Sony Michel stepping up.
Hey,
Yeah.
well,
that's just selfish.
Hold on, I got something for that. Where's it at? There it is. Hashtag selfish prediction from the founder of hashtag
That's true. CEO
of
of selfishpredictions.biz.
All right,
Jason,
let me see here. I'm bringing up the contract years right now.
All right. So while you do that, I want to bring up one player. I'll save a bunch of different players, but I want to bring up one person. Dalton freaking Schultz. He's on the last year of his deal. He is a free agent going into 2022. 6th, so among tight ends, 6th in targets, 3rd in receptions, 6th in yards, and 2nd in touchdowns. If you would have told, I liked Dalton Schultz as a Cowboys fan. I'm like, okay, I can mess with this guy. He's pretty awesome. Blake Jarwin perpetually is injured. But the level of, I know, especially in fantasy, but even in real life dominance, if y'all watched that game against San Francisco, he was the only receiver that could do anything. Like for some reason, Dak was like, no, you know what? Amari Cooper, I'm not going to pay the $100 million man, or I'm not going to throw it to him. CeeDee Lamb, you keep dropping balls, so we're not going to mess with you anymore. And Dalton Schultz was getting open at will. I think he made himself a lot of money in his ability to availability, I guess, is number one.
Sure.
And his ability just to work the middle of the field and do those really getting in the soft spots of the zones and getting and moving the chains. I really hope Dallas signs him.
I think they'd be foolish to. I mean, even if they keep Jarwin, if you can keep them both on the field, because you're going to lose Gallup, right? I mean, so you got to just having more pieces to move around in that offense, because Dak he's shown to be the guy. I mean, just protect him a little bit and give him some options. It's funny you mentioned a tight end, because I believe I saw that Mike Gesicki is up either now or soon. Can you imagine, him going to Seattle?
Oh man,
Cincinnati. But I mean, nothing against.
You'd have 10 touchdowns if you went
Uzomah.
to Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be trying to stay in Miami. They'd probably give him the most money, but he could go somewhere and really be the dude.
Mm-hmm. Mike Gesicki got 111 targets this year. I did not realize that. Holy smokes.
I didn't either. I was just kind of looking.
That's fourth among tight ends.
Yeah, and that's from just imagine if an efficient quarterback.
Yeah.
Getting him the ball.
Absolutely.
I mean, what's 111 or 112 targets turn into 80, 85 catches?
Yeah, probably.
If not more.
Yeah. And that dude's an athletic freak, too. Jason, who you got?
Mine's going to be a funny one, and I like this one a lot because it's actually really intriguing, and I think we're probably going to talk about him a lot on the offseason now that I'm looking at this. But Melvin Gordon is in a contract year, and he played his ass off. If you'd have asked me a year ago, what are we doing with Melvin Gordon, I would have told you Javonte Williams had his job in week 4. I didn't expect anything out of him at all. And to get almost 1,000 yards here, we got, what's he got? 918 yards, 8 touchdowns, and then 40 targets, 213 yards, and 2 touchdowns through the air. So 1,100 yards all purpose and 10 touchdowns.
That's a solid year, man.
And he's 28.
As somebody who's splitting time.
And that was a 50-50 timeshare.
Right, and he's 28 years old, so he's not going to get many more opportunities. So this is kind of like that perfect time for him to cash out.
Yeah.
So if I'm telling you, I think somebody's about to get some money, it's probably Melvin Gordon. He probably doesn't deserve it. We'll probably see regression, but he's going to.
Who's a running back away? Like who is is there a team that's like a dude away?
I don't.
Arizona, but
I mean, honestly, James Conner came in and he's looked like a world beater, really.
Yeah.
Chase Evans looked pretty spry last night in that game.
Yeah, I think the thing about
game, but
Arizona's probably got to keep them both. I think they're better off, both of them, if they both are there. Because neither one of them.
It's kind of the fire and ice, like not fire and ice, thunder and lightning.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't think either one of them are healthy enough to take the full, load of carries. And they both catch the ball. I mean, the load of touches, they need to be with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm struggling to think. Maybe Miami could always use a running back.
Houston
was not it. Houston
has a ton of running backs that aren't getting it done.
Oh yeah, and they're
not giving Rex Burkhead
30 years old. So
we're not.
Isn't Melvin Gordon from Texas?
I'm sure.
I'm not entirely sure.
I'm almost certain.
Texas or Florida. I think that's where all the football players come from.
Yeah.
We have a comment in here from our buddy Jay. Said both tight ends in Seattle are up too. So Gerald Everett and I guess that's Will Disley.
Yeah,
are both up. So
Will
Seattle's
Disley
an
could
intriguing
be good.
place.
Will Disley could be good. I don't know what's up with that. I've
He
seen
keeps
him
getting
flash.
injured, bro.
Yeah, I've seen
He
him
like
flash.
tore his kneecap or something. It was patella tendon, I think.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was something weird.
It was something weird, but yeah, man. And I would also just throw in real quick Mike Williams. Mike Williams made himself a lot of money. He had a very good year this year.
He really did.
He showed he could stay healthy. He's not a number one receiver in my mind. He's a good number 2.
Yeah, the beginning of the year, it looked like he was going to kind of overtake Keenan Allen, and he just really trailed off. I don't know if it's all his fault, but it happened.
Man, I made the wrong freaking trade in our dynasty league together. I packaged somebody and Keenan Allen and a first for like, I think it was the 101 basically.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, but yeah. Anyways, all right, I want to ask Keith a couple of questions here. We haven't done this with a guest yet, Jason, where we ask him just like some just random stuff to get to know him a little bit. Like we know Keith's our dude from like back in the day, but we share the same hometown. What is happening? Oh, there we go. So we got, I don't remember if I have a caption for this or not. Oh, I do. Okay. Are you on a laptop, Keith, or a computer?
No, not right now.
Oh, that's fine. I was just.
But that's okay.
Can you see any of this stuff right here on the bottom? So if you can't, that's fine. So number 1, who is your favorite fantasy player of all time? First off, how long have you been playing fantasy football?
My first league was 2001.
2001. Okay, so you have me beat by a few years then, and Jason beat by a lot because he's just a baby.
Favorite fantasy player of all time? I'm going to go with the guy who won me my first 2 titles, Priest Holmes.
Oh,
yeah. In the Wayback Machine.
Did you get to? Did you see him? at Kansas City beating the drum.
Yeah. Oh, I saw a lot of drum beating in Kansas City. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Okay, so we got Priest Holmes. Loved Priest Holmes back in the day. Oh, sorry, I freaking forgot one. So, who is your least favorite? Who is your most hated? I mean, I want some of that vintage, genuine Keith dark heart hate. Who do you hate the most in fantasy football? You can say real football too. It really don't matter.
Oh, real football, it's Ray Lewis.
Okay.
That's not even.
I know.
No, that's not even a. Yeah, it's Ray Lewis, 100%. My least favorite fantasy player of all time. Man, I'm like a robot. Whoever I draft that doesn't produce right now is Christian McCaffrey.
It's Christian McCaffrey.
I love that guy, man, but he is a unicorn, and he's
have
not
a
going to
sneaky
last very much longer.
Yeah.
Jay's down here saying MJD. I'm assuming Maurice Jones-Drew is your all-time favorite, Jay, because I had the chance to draft him a few times when I think I started playing like 04 or so. God, was he good? He was like a little ball of like muscle.
Yeah. He was splitting time at the time too, right? With Fred Taylor?
With Fred. Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost said Fred Jackson. That's a homie from Buffalo, I think.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
This is
Fred
a fun
Jackson,
one right here,
and he
Keith.
played for New England too.
On a scale of Johnny Manziel to Michael Jordan, where would you rate your pickleball skills?
Who's under Johnny Manziel?
Jason Mitchell and throwing the football.
Oh no!
Whoa!
I'll give him,
Jason Mitchell playing bass. That's what it is.
Oh, I'll take that. I'll take that. No,
Yeah, for real.
I just ran into pickleball last year, and it's awesome. I love to play, but I imagine it's like how golfers are. You hit one great shot and you're chasing that shot the rest of the day, even though you were absolute garbage. Garbage. But it's fun, and that's the main thing for now. I'll give myself a little while. If I'm not a pro in a year or so, I'll probably just throw the paddles in the woods.
just smash them on your knee.
Yeah.
All right, next question here. You've been convicted as a serial reaper, and now you're on death row. What's your last meal?
Again, I'm super ghetto. I'll probably get Chipotle.
Okay. What do you get? Do you get the burrito bowl? What's your poison?
It depends. If I'm like, I was snowed in over the weekend in Roanoke, and it was just a life of hotel sadness. So I got the burrito. If I'm trying to live a good life, I'll get the bowl.
Okay.
But no, it was burrito, double wrapped. Get the extra tortilla.
Okay.
Yes.
Keep that juicy goodness inside of it.
Yeah, I don't want it escaping.
No. All right. And the last question for you here. What's your favorite thing in your collection of action figures, memorabilia, etc.? Y'all can, if you're watching the video version of this, you can see Keith has quite a few knickknacks and things behind him.
I don't go out of my way to get a lot of expensive stuff or anything. I just get stuff I like. But one thing I did get, it was maybe $100, but it was a Cobra Commander from San Diego Comic-Con, and he's standing at a podium, but it's in the old school Real American Hero packaging. It's pretty sweet.
Heck yeah, our nerds on this will get that.
We got plenty.
If you're not talking Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, I don't know.
Oh,
My daughter.
That's all upstairs in the girls' room.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. You call me a girl?
Yes.
Well, that's all right. You know what? Just for that, this is what you're getting. # never the Steelers, Teal City.
That's fair.
And because I control these captions, there will be no Dallas captions on here.
That's okay. I handled Dallas right away.
Oh, God, I hate you.
I'm glad somebody had to, Jason. Way to go.
Oh, wait till you can play it back. It was a mess. I worked on it for a while.
Can I say something that
he didn't like it at all?
No, I didn't like that. And then I woke up Monday morning. I had the day off. It was MLK Day. I wake up at 6:30 or something. I can hear my kids running around acting crazy in the kitchen. I'm like, oh shit, let me get up. First thing I see is a freaking meme, a Dallas, like just shitting all over Dallas. And for whatever reason, it put me in the worst mood. And I just turned into like a butthurt ass. Y'all saw it in the league chat. I was so butthurt, and I'm still a little butthurt about that game. Anyways, so speaking of that, we're going to review the wild card round here. The first game, so there was 6 games, right? So we had 12 teams, 6 games. 2 of the games were good. The other 4 were just trash. So I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on this, but I do want to get y'all's. I'll get y'all's points of view, specifically Keith's, because I don't care about Jason's. The Raiders lost to the Bengals 19-26. That was honestly a really good game, like a genuinely good game. I thought the Bengals. I declared it last week. I thought the Bengals were going to come out and stomp them. Didn't happen. Keith, what were your general thoughts? What are your general takeaways from that game there?
You know, I didn't think the Bengals were going to like smash them, but I thought they would win. And to me, the game wasn't it didn't look as close as the score. I thought the Bengals were just way better skill position. Defense actually played better than I expected. I thought that would be kind of the Achilles heel going in. The Raiders, they're fine. They were never going to win a playoff game, right? I mean, did anybody really? I don't know.
Jason was.
I think the people who really thought the Raiders were going to win, though, I thought they probably thought it was more a Bengals will collapse versus Raiders just, I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, for me, it was all year long, oh, Raiders aren't going to win that. Oh, the Raiders aren't going to win that. The Raiders aren't going to win that. And they just kept doing it. And I'm like, what the, and so all year, they're just making me look stupid. So then we get in the playoffs, and I'm like, all right, man, shit. Okay, I've had enough. You'll win. And then they lose. So that's just how it goes sometimes. But, hey, at least it was down to the wire. Like I said to you earlier, Eric, I could have picked a game. I could have picked one of the blowouts, but I picked a game that was literally a play away. So go fuck yourself.
Well, I just want to say that no one should believe anything you're saying right now. Jason wanted the Raiders to win so that Tennessee would have to play the Raiders and give the Titans an easier path. You're such a liar.
Keith
and then you tried to put the ghost of John Madden on me.
Keith knows you're a liar. I wanted Pittsburgh to beat Kansas City so we could play Pittsburgh. I didn't say anything about us playing the Raiders.
Everybody wanted the Steelers, and I don't blame them.
That's fair.
I didn't say a word about the Raiders.
Right. My bad.
I said the Raiders have some weird mojo.
Both terrible.
Yeah.
But you tried to put the ghost of John Madden on me. He was like, you got to pick the Raiders. John Madden. I'm like, what the hell is up with that? That's messed up, dude. What'd you say? I can't hear you. No. Thank goodness. All right, Keith, let's move on without Jason. He's just, good. He's gone. Perfect. No, man, I thought I saw that you had put in the doc there. I want to highlight one player from that. Freaking Max Crosby. That guy is an absolute monster. I think you saw. This is to Keith. Keith's point here. According to PFF, Max Crosby had 7 pressures, 5 hurries to go along with 2 QB hits, 2 tackles for a loss, and a sack. He was he's going to be a problem for his whole career.
You and I both know the biggest stat out of that whole line is the QB hits. Right? The QB hits are just. You
got to rattle these, especially quarterback.
You can get the sack, fumble, scoop, score, touchdown, or the QB hit. I'm taking the QB hit every time.
Yeah, and you talk about pressure. They're talking about pressures too, man. If you're pushing their tackle back into them, like that's going to mess with that guy's mind all game long.
Yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, I really thought Max Crosby just laying all over Joe Burrow the whole game would kind of take him out of the game. Burrow didn't seem like, I know he's not a rookie, but he's a second-year guy coming off a season of injury and stuff. This is his first full year starting. Playing at a high level. He looked unshakable. He really reminds me of his mentality is sort of like on the field anyway, of like Carson Palmer or Troy Aikman. You know, they're just like, unless you put them to sleep on the field, which, you know, we've seen that with some of these guys. I don't know that you can really get to him mentally.
Jason's back, but he has no video, so I don't know what's going on there. We can't hear him. Jason, maybe try and restart whatever's going on. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's gone again. Perfect. All right, cool. So we had the Patriots and the Bills up next. Not a game whatsoever. 47-17. I won't. There's not a lot of takeaways. The Bills are really good. The Patriots, they played them. You know, that was the third time they've been playing. I want y'all's thoughts on the Patriots' future more than anything that the Bills did. What
Go
do you
ahead,
think
Jason.
about that?
Oh, I think they're 1-2 guys away. The only thing I'll say about the New England offense has eluded me all season is why Jonnu Smith hasn't been a great part of it. You know, you have such a good OC there, such a creative and amazing OC, and you got a player like Jonnu, and you love running the ball. And the guy used to play running back. We used him in the backfield all the time. I don't know why he never became integrated into the offense, but Jonnu Smith just seemed to never get a role. So that was a waste of money. Sorry. Hunter Henry did well. I think you need a real number one wide receiver, and I think they can get one. I don't know if they necessarily have to draft a guy.
Yeah. While you're talking, Keith, I want to look at their cap numbers for this upcoming year.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jason, I totally agree about Jonnu Smith. And the thing is, you got Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, but you basically got one tight end's worth of production for $30 million for the season. Go get Gesicki. Get these guys out of here. Get a guy who plays. Or, you know, a guy like Mike Williams. I'm right there with you. Like, do they have a number one? I love Jacoby Myers and some of the other guys that they've got, but they got a bunch of Edelmans.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's going to work.
I don't think so either. And you have to – I think Mike Williams is actually the perfect answer, Keith, because he can – like I said, he's not a number one wide receiver, but he can take some of those – because Jacoby Myers is gonna fuck those zones up in the middle. Like, he's really good route runner, doesn't score touchdowns, but that's where you have Mike Williams. He can stretch the field. Nelson Aguilar, I have zero faith in. He had a good year. Last year or 2 years ago with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know why they paid him so much. I thought that was trash in the beginning. But
you know how Belichick is. He takes project players all the time.
Yeah, I think he takes pride in taking scrap heap guys and making them something. But you know, when's the last time they had like a number one? Randy Moss.
Randy Moss.
I mean, they've had number one,
Gronk.
but they've been slot
Maybe you
guys.
can say Gronk.
Could you imagine Allen Robinson? Robinson.
Allen's another one that would probably be perfect there.
That would actually, man, I really like that fit, Jason. He's got that not scrappy, but like that. He plays smart because he's not the most athletic. He's not the biggest. He's a good route runner, but I really like that fit. Oh,
well,
man.
Wouldn't you guys kind of agree that Mac Jones is an upgrade for Allen Robinson career-wise at quarterback?
Yeah.
I mean, I defend Mitch Trubisky a lot. But, you know, he was fine. I think his production is, you know, whatever. But Blake Bortles and Nick Foles and Andy Dalton, like, I think it finally caught up between injuries and subpar QB play this year. It finally caught up with Allen Robinson. If he went with a guy who was more steady, you know, I think he'd be right back to 130 targets and that whole deal. The usual Allen Robinson.
He had 150 targets, like I think 2 of the last 3 years, not counting 2021.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Keith. I think his sadness was weighing him down. He just couldn't produce.
Well, dude,
he's like, I've had enough of this.
He tweeted during the Super Bowl last year. He was like, all I want to do is be in one of these.
Hey.
And then they were like, franchise tag, psych, you thought you was. And then it was just sad all year long. That was one of those, like, hello, darkness, my old friend moments. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Simon
like
and Garfunkel just start playing.
as the Dallas game was going, I remember I posted that gif of a dude tying a noose, and now I
Yep.
just think that's Allen Robinson too. He's like, just
Somebody had to like restrain him before every game going out there. Alan, no, you're very
I mean,
talented.
it has to weigh on you as a competitor where you're
Yeah.
busting your ass for years and years, and then finally you're just like, I don't know if I have it in me anymore with this team. Like sometimes you just need a change of scenery.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I really like that fit. Well, I wrote that down to cover in our division breakdowns. All right, on to the next game here. We got the Eagles 15, the Bucks 31. Never close at all. They actually got close through garbage time nonsense anyway. So this game was an absolute ass spanking to the Eagles, which I love to see. Once again, I really don't have a lot to say. I don't really want to we'll focus on Tampa Bay here in a little bit, but the Eagles have 4 picks in the top 51, including 3 picks in the top 19. They have pick 15, 16, and 19. What do they need to focus on to kind of take them to the next level? Jason wants to say quarterback so bad.
I mean, do they need another receiver? They probably do. I mean,
Jalen Reagor sure ain't cutting it.
Well, they've got Goddard and they've got oh my God, I'm losing
Smith.
Devontae
Smith.
Yeah, Devontae Smith, but they're like, what else do you? I mean, maybe Quez Watkins is something. You know, maybe they throw more to Gainwell. I don't know, but just more weapons for Hurts is always going to be a plus. They're going to have to protect him too, though, from himself. I mean, he's going to run, but he's still getting hit a lot.
Yeah. I don't think he has very good decision making. What do you think, Jason? As far as what do they need, man?
So I look at it more of like, okay, first of all, if you keep Gardner Minshew, you're going to be okay. All right. Because one of these two guys can play for you for a season. All right. But what you got to do first things first, Nick Sirianni, he can't run his offense without that offensive line. He came from the Indianapolis Colts to the Philadelphia Eagles. He aged 20 years, a lineman. Okay. So Sirianni needs big, strong, powerful, physical, but agile lineman. He needs that line he built in Indianapolis. So he's got to get that first because you have a Miles Sanders. You have a Kenny Gainwell. You have these pieces in the backfield. You got, I guess, Jordan
Howard.
Jordan Howard. They might keep him around. I don't know. But to me, most importantly, you've got a Miles Sanders. You got a Kenny Gainwell. You've got a number 1 in Devontae. You've got a big-time tight end in Dallas Goedert. There are pieces on the offense. They can play offense, but they need a line.
Well, the crazy thing is they have, Jason Kelsey, really good center. Mailata, their left tackle, they just freaking he's been really, really good. Yeah. They signed him to an extension this offseason. Lane Johnson, one of the best right tackles in the league. Brandon Brooks, one of the best guards in the league. To me,
I don't know their ages respectfully, but
agreed. No, they're older. They are older. They're definitely older, but at the same time, they're locked up in kind of long-term deals. Because I'm sitting here looking at their salary cap right here. Not Brandon Graham, excuse me. Lane Johnson would be a negative $19 million cap savings, so not great.
Nice.
I mean, gosh, I can't find this guy's name. Yeah, Brandon Brooks would only save you $3.7 million. I don't know that the offensive line is the problem because they ran the ball really well down the stretch, like from week 6 on.
That was a change at quarterback that helped a lot when they were running the ball. Like I think I highlighted it as we went week from week. Like when you finally saw Miles Sanders be productive, it was because Jalen Hurts wasn't playing, and the season before we had deduced that his numbers went up with Jalen Hurts beside him. Mm-hmm. So we had the numbers to prove it, but for some reason that didn't translate this year. And I say again, I think it's the offense. They're running a different offense. And I think that offense wants you to be extremely physical and agile and move and run the ball. And I think you've got older guys who played a different style of football their entire life. They didn't play that, option style. I don't know, man. I don't see it. I just don't see the translation at all.
I'm just sitting here looking at their roster, and they're old, man. Like, this is an old. Darius Slay is 30 years old. Brandon Graham is 32, I think I just read. He's 33. Fletcher Cox is old. Like, the whole defense is getting old before our eyes. They need to invest. I'm always an outside in guy because I'm a PFF disciple. So just invest from the outside in. And Keith is smiling because he loves it. But yeah, they need to invest in corner. Darius Slay is good. He was really good this season, but he's 30 years old. We saw it happen with Darrelle Revis. He turned 32, I want to say, and it was just
falling off a cliff.
Yeah, it was off a cliff. Same thing with anyways, there's a bunch of corners out there that prove that. But for the Eagles, I think invest in defense, and I think you have to, like to your point, Keith, I think you have to get some weapons. You need to look at a Traylon Burks or some of these big. It's actually a halfway decent wide receiver class. At least the top tier is.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, they've got all these picks. Do you think this is a year where you just finally you go out of your way to get these guys? Like, you go ahead and replace or have guys ready to replace Slay and dudes like that in another year or so? Just go ahead and draft essentially depth.
I like that, but they tried to do that with Andre Dillard, and that clearly didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
When they had he's an amazing left tackle, and I cannot think of his name right now. Anyways, I think you just have to, and I hate drafting for need at the same time, but if your need and the opportunity is there, I'd like to marry those together.
Well, when you got all those picks, you can kind of mix it up.
Yeah.
Get a guy for need and a guy for depth and best
absolutely.
player available here,
Honestly, man, that would be my advice to them. Like, just take best player available, because you kind of have needs all across.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Just take the best player available and have the card. I mean, that's how Baltimore does it pretty much every single year. Best player available. I know I didn't mean to talk about Baltimore, Keith.
No, I mean, I really have no issue with Baltimore, except they are a team that for a long time was the Steelers, just in another uniform.
Mm-hmm.
They ran the ball, they played physical, had the big QB, and it was mirror images. That's how they built their team.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to hate them.
But but they added, all the dirty shit and
the murderers. It's
the intentionally hurting people. And,
Alleged.
I synced it.
Can we just skip this next game? 49ers 23, Cowboys 17. What a weird game. I have Erik rant written down on this, but honestly, I won't let it hurt me anymore. It's just it is what it is, man. I think that the Cowboys have one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. Constantly, year after year, for the past 25 years, we've seen, like Jason said, draft amazing players and teach them freaking terrible. I don't know this. I don't want to say work ethic, because I don't think that's right, but terrible habits and to be undisciplined. CeeDee Lamb was out there. He pissed me off so bad.
He's the biggest.
Oh, dude, they were down. I forget what it was, because I was like seeing red. And he's out there like lackadaisically, like jogging to the line. He didn't get set. That's what it was. He didn't get set one time, and they hiked the ball, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, stop being so. It's just, to me, that's a reflection of ownership to general manager, who are the same person, down to the head coach.
He almost
Nothing
calls
is
the
going to
pick.
change until Jerry is gone.
He almost calls the pick there at the end too. I remember you guys were really close to the red zone, and he just kept a route. He kind of ran it into the end zone. It was supposed to be a comeback.
Yeah.
And Dak threw it, where he would have come back and set, but he was, at least 5-6 yards downfield. And it's like, man, if that one gets picked, that's the end of the game right there.
Yeah.
You never even had the opportunity to,
It's just, honestly, that was a perfect dichotomy into what it is to be. I wouldn't say a Dallas Cowboys fan, but like to watch the Cowboys the past 25 years. Like you guys have
Actually,
both
me
been
and
doing. Like,
Bryson are going to take a shot to this.
cool. That's I hate
To
it so
CeeDee
much.
Lamb's route running.
Just
Freaking.
twisting the knife,
I
man.
know he's a terrible
Oh,
friend.
we came fully ready to party tonight. We're like, this is for you, Eric.
Oh man.
To
So,
CeeDee Lamb's route running.
Eric, as a Cowboy fan, aren't you kind of over Jerry Jones? And if so, how long have you been over Jerry Jones?
That's the appropriate question there. Yes, I am over Jerry Jones. I've been over Jerry Jones. You know when I first when at first I was like, okay, I am so done with him. He wanted to take Johnny Manziel over Zach Martin in the first round of whatever it was, the
I remember
2013 or
that.
2014
Yeah.
draft. And at that point, and I was already kind of irritated with him because he's out there and he's always bragging and doing his stupid bullshit, and make it and just not letting anybody else have any sort of say or anything in the franchise. He's such a micromanager. But
He
that was really
wants
the moment.
he wants so badly for everybody to give him all the credit. I mean, wasn't that the whole Jimmy Johnson and him split was just
Right?
over, well, yeah, you're the coach, but I brought you here. Well, okay.
Just enjoy
That's the
success together.
stupid right. Ego
Yeah.
gets in the way of a
Yeah.
lot of stuff.
Yeah, man. Honestly, and I got so mad on, I think it was Sunday, actually. I texted our group chat and I was like, all right, I'm looking for a new team. I can't be a Cowboys fan anymore. But I will say this, all the hate that I received really galvanized me again. And I am back. I am still alloy at this point. So you'll hear nothing about, I can hate on my team. I can hate my ownership. But at the end of the day, I've been a Cowboys fan since 1995. I'm not freaking. I've seen one Super Bowl, right? And I was 8 or 7 or whatever, or yeah, 8, I guess. So I will see another one. Damn it, before I die.
Yeah.
I hope.
I saw that one.
Yes, I know. It was Super Bowl 30.
Neil
Do you
O'Donnell,
know-
man. Woo.
He's like that son of a bitch.
I mean, have you gone? But I've watched that game so many times, and I'm just like, I wish at the time they had the all 22 camera
Yeah.
because you haven't. Who's out there? There's nobody but open field and Larry Brown on both picks. There's no way. Like, I'm not this guy, but I remember thinking at the time, the fix is in, man.
He's got money.
Yeah.
The only good thing about that game was Rod Woodson came back from an ACL tear in the same season. Like, he got hurt in, I think, week 1 and said, I'll be back for the Super Bowl. So that was cool. But they lost, so it was less cool.
Wow. Yeah. It was like JJ Watt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking Cam Akers.
Oh, that dude. He is something.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
Cam Akers won his game. JJ Watt was like, I'm back. I couldn't let him do it without me. I had to come in and just destroy. And then they fucking lost. And
You not a JJ Watt fan?
Why would I be, Eric? Give me one reason why I would be.
Because he's an awesome, awesome human being.
That played for the Texans for a long time.
Yeah, who cares? The Texans have literally never been a threat for but like 2 years. All right, we're going to wrap these other two up kind of together because they're kind of in the same. They're cut from the same cloth. The Steelers 21, the Chiefs 42, and the Cardinals got the tar beat out of them by the Rams. Keith, is there anything you'd like to say to Ben Roethlisberger?
I mean, I've given him a lot of shit in our dynasty chat. If he's really gone, slam dunk Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah.
There was never a time in the first 6 or 7 years that he played where he had the ball, and I didn't think that they would produce. I will never forget in that Arizona Super Bowl. I was watching it with John Wilson. When Larry Fitzgerald catches that long touchdown, he flips out. And I'm sitting on the floor next to the couch just kind of watching. And I'm like, John, don't sweat it. They gave Ben too much time. And they did. They gave him way too much time. He used to be like that all the time. 2015, 16 comes around. You're in the league 12, 13 years. Your clutch badge is gone. You're just treading water as a pretty good quarterback at that time. But then the elbow injury happened. I think we can all say since that elbow injury, he has been trash.
Yeah.
I mean, he's putting up numbers, but every QB puts up numbers in this league the way they dink and dunk. And, when his depth of target is 3 yards, and he used to have like depth of target Joe Namath level, throwing deep shots all the time.
Oh yeah, it used to be like 20 something.
Yeah, it was crazy, and now he's Montana in the later, which is fine. That happens to everybody. I just wish great players would know when to walk away.
Yeah.
Give me a couple years of being gone so I can miss you. Because you are a top, in my opinion, a top 15 QB. Erik, you posted a list of guys. I would take Ben over quite a few of those.
After I looked at that too, and I listened or I saw what you said, I was like, okay, yeah, I agree with Keith. I think you could slot Ben into like easily. I would say healthily top 12, top 10. We could definitely debate that.
That's fair.
Actually, I would like to have you back on when we do the AFC North because I do want to have. I actually want to do like a full on researched ranking of like all time quarterbacks, and let's see where Ben was or where we think Ben is.
Sure. I mean, everybody knows that I think Aaron Rodgers is the best of all time,
talent-wise.
But we've had that best versus greatest argument. It's like you have to be able to separate favorite and best. Like my favorite band is probably Every Time I Die, R.I.P.
Too soon.
But are they better than the Beatles? Are they better than Led Zeppelin? Are they better? Probably not, but that doesn't matter.
But the Beatles are trash, though. Like, they're really bad. That's a really bad band.
I'm sorry they're not heavy enough for you.
The Rolling Stones are way better than the Beatles.
Come on, man.
No, and God's honest truth, I'm not just like trolling y'all. I genuinely think that. I literally don't like one Beatles song that I've ever heard.
Okay.
It's just like it's psychedelic. Somebody just left. Somebody stopped viewing when I said that.
That's hilarious. No, I what I like about your take right now is you're illustrating my point, because if you look at what the Beatles did for just like what they did for like recording albums, what they did for like just being experimental, you didn't have that at the time. They were sort of pushing the envelope on how you recorded and how you thought about the craft of music. They went from She Loves You, yeah, 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 to the psychedelic stuff. They were essentially Hanson and became an experimental rock band that people really revered, not because of the I Want to Hold Your Hand era. So I totally get what you're saying, but that's where you go, but you can't discount the contribution.
Oh, and I don't discount their contribution whatsoever, like at all. And I understand that they're, considered probably the best band of all time. And that's fine. But to me, music is always music, food. Anytime you say favorite, that's incredibly subjective. I mean, that's the definition of favorite. So I just, like I said, I just don't like the Beatles. I don't.
I mean,
they don't do anything for me.
Don't get me started. This isn't a music podcast, so
you're right. We'll do that. We
don't want
need to press forward anyway.
You don't open my door.
We do need to press forward. So the Rams beat the trash out of the Cardinals. It's like we said last week, Jason. When the Rams play their best, they probably are the best team in the NFL. If they play up to their potential, I genuinely think they are.
Yeah.
Are they always going to do that? No. But any quick thoughts on the Cardinals and Rams game?
It kind of went like I expected. I didn't expect a lot out of the Cardinals defense this year anyway. I mean, they've got some players, but they're not somebody I fear.
And Kyler Murray just looked like he didn't know what – he looked like a little deer,
lost.
Like a tiny deer. He looked like Bambi in like right before Bambi gets hit by the car. That didn't really happen. I was just saying.
You know,
Probably
James,
should have. That's the Disney Dark Universe.
James J. Gillette called it right before it happened.
Oop.
He was like, he was in there our group chat in our Dynasty League, and he was like, Kyler's about to break down, and he play now, and then like after when he got hit in the end zone and he threw it up, and there's the pick six. You know, like Jay had literally called that. I don't know if you guys
Dude,
saw that or not,
What
but
is with these quarterbacks this year falling down? Patrick Mahomes
That
even
was-
did it a
Whoa.
few like back in early in the season, like falling down and just oh.
yeah,
That was
Give
probably
me a
that was
break,
the
man.
worst
Take a sack.
interception. Yeah, that was the worst interception I've seen this season. It was so bad. I'm
Well,
like, bro.
it had to be the worst just because of the situation. This is
Yeah.
the playoffs, man. That's a week 2 mistake.
yeah.
Just throw it out of bounds for Christ's sake. But yeah. All right. So we got that. Jason, you went 5 for 6. The only one you missed last week was the Raiders. Because you were channeling, you just love John Madden that much, I guess. And then I went 6 for 6 because I am better than you.
you're not.
We're gonna preview the
Is there
division.
3 crowns in your name?
I don't just crown myself.
Look
okay?
at my name.
I don't play in little
Those are
trash leagues that I can
championships.
win.
He does.
Those are championships.
I'm seeing 3 crowns there.
Whatever.
Eric, how many
I
championships did you win?
won 2.
Okay, so where are your 2? We
I
need to
don't
fix
put
that.
crowns. I don't put crowns
Keith,
in
how
my
many did you win this year?
I won 2, and they were in leagues I could give a shit less about.
Which one do you want to win the most, Keith? That's what I want to know.
I think Dynasty is harder long term. Well, I will say the Dungeons and Drag routes is the one I want the most because it's the one I've been in the longest as far as Dynasty. And I remember when I drafted, I told you guys I built my team for year 3. This was year 3, and my team collapsed in the playoffs.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
But I will say it was embarrassing. I will say my auction league with a couple of guys that are in noobs. Auction, I think, is a level of difficulty that's because it's not just up to you. You
Mhm.
can draft great in a redraft or whatever. But when you draft in Dynasty, and they are trolls, man, and they'll see this.
They'll
they
bid
know.
you up.
Yeah, every time. Like I've got to I'm playing 8D chess in there. I'm like, okay, well, they know I might want this guy, so I'm not going to bid on him. But then if I don't bid on him, I can't give a guy up for like $12 who should have been 30.
Yeah.
And then I get in my own head and I start outbidding myself. Like it's the worst, but the best at the same time. Like auction leagues are so fun. I'd say that in Dynasty are right neck and neck.
Right now.
I really want to do an auction.
Right now. Keith, will you commit to us that next season we're going to do an auction draft?
Yes.
And Eric and I will put it in the show and we'll monitor it as we go. If it's that hard, let's do this.
Yeah. Like I said, it's harder because of the trolling. And everybody wants the same guys, right? You really got to research that middle tier because I typically I think all things being equal, I'm a stars and scrubs guy. Like I will try to put together 2 big running backs and then get $2 or $3 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hit on a couple of those, like the year I won, I paid $10 for Galladay and $12 for Godwin. It was Godwin's breakout year.
And it was at 2019 when
I had spent $140 on Kamara. No, I'm sorry, Saquon and CMC. So I had to go bargain shopping.
Yeah,
and it worked out. But if it doesn't work out, then you're waiver wiring that because we play a 3 wide receiver set too.
Yeah, that's the only way to play.
Yeah, that just makes it even tougher because you can have like this year I had Calvin Ridley all over the place. I had McCaffrey all over the place.
I hate that too. Me too, but somehow, man, I hate it for you, Keith, because I know that if you'd have had a healthy Christian McCaffrey, you'd have done really well in the playoffs.
I was fine with – I liked kind of having to bootstrap it. No, it certainly was not. I will accept my team's limitations and make my excuses and go from there.
Eric, the one thing I don't give you any shit about is the fact that I beat you under those circumstances. That was my number 1 keeper.
What do you hold on, run it by me again?
The one thing I haven't given you shit about is that I beat you under those circumstances.
What, that you didn't have Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah. After 2 years of sitting with him as my number one keeper and wasting my number one pick, both 2 years in a row.
Hey man, I don't know what to tell you. That's I hate
You should
it.
feel
It sucks.
bad. That's
I
what
do
you
feel
tell me.
bad.
You tell me you
just
feel
for the
bad.
record. And
I
the
just
one-
loved
the
in
one he's talking about. I've been to the championship game 3 years in a row now. I got second 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
that's gotta hurt. Like I
It
get
doesn't
it.
feel good at all.
No, it just
Especially this asshole.
every year it's like a tumor,
Freaking-
just getting
yeah.
bigger and bigger.
Oh,
But
I get the trophy in the morning.
I hate you so much. All right,
in,
we would be
in
remiss
Dungeons
if
and
we don't-
Drag Routes, so real quick, Eric, one
Yeah.
thing that I think is crazy is how consistent. I'm not going to call you lucky. I'm not going to call you fortunate because you did have you had injuries. Is that small? You had a little injury. I don't know how you're avoiding it. Now, you lost Godwin. I thought Godwin was going to be a bigger deal there at the end.
DeAndre Hopkins as well.
Yeah, you lost Hopkins.
I lost Cam Akers at the end of the
And then
season.
my team, the last 2 weeks of the regular season, 210, 235. First week of the playoffs, 140. Yes. Unbelievable. I hate that league.
Yep, I'm getting the belt soon, and it will be right there.
It's
for
got to be,
everyone
yeah.
to see.
What?
All right, let's.
No, it's got to be right here
Oh no,
at
it
all
will be. It will be
times.
right
Oh
here.
yeah, no,
I'm
you don't
gonna
get on
make
this.
some. I'm gonna make some sort of like shelving unit right here.
Uh-huh.
But during the podcast, no, you're right, Jason. It will be right there. You're right. You're right.
Terrible.
All right,
Swaggy
let's
about
do
these things.
let's do a quick preview of this stuff here, because if not, we're going to run on for 2 hours. I don't mind. However, I do have some. Anyways, I have shit to do besides talk to you fuckers the rest of the night. Bengals versus Titans. Titans are 3.5 point favorites. Over under is 47.
Shoot.
Let me tell you just a quick stat, because Jamar Chase is incredible. Weeks 16, 17. I'm not counting week 18 because he played 9% of snaps.
Yeah.
And then the wild card round. These are his numbers. Excuse me. 34 targets, 27 receptions, 507 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's pretty.
Pretty good.
Who's guarding him? Who's guarding him, Jason?
Oh man,
Everyone?
The LSU in the building. Why can't I think of his name?
Because you're not a real fan. That's why.
Fuck you. I know what school he went to. Fuck you. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I just can't think of his name. Bryson, help me out. LSU, Tennessee, #1 corner.
Oh, Tyron.
Do what? What is it? Christian Fulton. Sorry.
Christian Fulton. Yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't think of that. But anyways, yes, Christian Fulton
not
will
very
be.
good.
Christian Fulton will be playing against the same guy he fucking played every goddamn day against at LSU, because they're literally went to school together, played every snap at LSU together. They won a championship together. Christian Fulton was on that team.
Yeah.
He knows. If anyone in the world knows, it's Christian Fulton.
Aren't you concerned, though, with all the attention he's going to get
Super
with
concerned.
Boyd and Higgins? Like, I'm
Super concerned.
I'm more worried about Boyd, to be
I'm
honest.
hopeful.
He's
I'm
a
gonna be
sneaker.
honest with you. I hope that what I've observed this season is traded the secondary for a pass rush, and what I'm hoping is that I continue to see that, because when did you see Oakland start to get back in that game? Is when the pass rush started to work. So if Tennessee can come in and that defensive line can put pressure on, their offensive line isn't good. Their defensive line took a bunch of injuries last week. So if Derrick Henry plays, that's a problem. If he doesn't play, I still think that's a problem. You can't lose guys in the playoffs on the defensive line. The lines control everything. And if we can run you over, we're healthy on the offensive line right now. If we can run you over, you're in trouble. It doesn't matter who's running the ball. You got to be healthy, and they're not. And so yes, I'm scared of Joe Burrow. Yes, I'm scared of those other receivers. But the one thing that I love that's going for us is we have the one corner in the NFL who knows their number one guy better than anyone.
Can I just say this? If the pass rush is going to be so fierce, they're going to be throwing like bubble screens to Jamar Chase, who might be the best yards after catch receiver in the NFL already.
Yeah, and I'm sure
that's pretty scary, man.
And I'm sure Fulton's used to it. Like I said, I watched Jamar Chase do all this shit in college. It's not new to me. I mean, that if you didn't,
it ain't new to anybody, bro. But he's still been freaking murdering veteran corners.
I'm just saying he's playing against a guy who came up with him in the same team. He knows how he plays. He knows the quarterback, which is more important. Think about that for a second.
Honestly,
not just Jamar.
I just don't. I don't really care what Jamar does. I still think Tennessee's going to win, but like they're going to have to do a little something against. If Jamar Chase catches 202, the Bengals have probably won that game, right?
Yes.
Or they were down by 30, and it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
All I'm really trying to say is that we have a guy like Kevin Byard back there playing ball hawk. He has a guy with him in the same unit in Christian Fulton who's familiar with this extremely familiar with the quarterback, extremely familiar with their number one wide receiver. They've definitely talked it out. There's definitely a game plan. Everyone on that defense knows whatever Christian Fulton knows. We're going in. Joe Burrow has not faced this before. He has not seen someone who actually knows him in and out. He has not played a team this physical since Baltimore, probably. And you're in the big game. Are you really? I know I watched him win a championship in college. Does that mean I think he can win this game? No.
He's 7-0 in like these big time games.
Yeah.
That he has to win, dating all the way back to high school.
Yep.
I don't really care that it's his second year. Joe Burrow is kind of different to me. I spoke about it. I don't know how many podcasts ago. He honestly, his freaking demeanor off the field reminds me of Tom Brady.
He's super pro. Yeah,
he's a super pro, and he's kind of a smart ass and kind of funny, and I like that.
Yeah,
I just read an article. It says Derrick Henry was back in pads today. If Derrick Henry plays, the Titans win this game. If he does not, the Bengals win this game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it for real. Like if he doesn't play, or if he plays 25% of snaps, the Bengals are winning this game.
I mean, how come nobody's talking about Joe Mixon?
Yeah, okay. The Titans are hard to run on, man.
Because Tennessee's got such a good defense.
That's true, but is Joe Mixon also not a guy that, like, he's been kind of matchup proof?
Yeah.
He produced. I mean, obviously he can't do it all by himself. If they're shutting down the pass game, Joe Mixon's got no shot. But you talk about those bubble screens and stuff. I mean, Mixon's a great receiver out of the backfield. They could do a lot with him, but I don't know. I'm hoping. I don't know that I care who wins this game. Not that I hate either one. I'm just kind of a fan at this point. I don't really dislike anybody left. You know, if the Bengals go on and win a Super Bowl, then they have become a credible threat and they can die. That's where I'm at. Yeah. But right now, everybody's just kind of, they're cute. They're a cute team. I don't worry about them. The only team like that is Green Bay. Like, they're a for real threat. But you can't. Aaron Rodgers could punt a baby across the street. And I'm like, that Aaron.
That's my guy.
Yeah, that's scamp.
Look at the form on that.
Yeah, it's so great. He can punt from all platforms.
What a leg. Yeah, honestly, man, I'm not going to make a bullshit, like, sit on the fence statement. I'm going to say Tennessee wins this game. What do you think, Jason? Don't even have to ask you.
Yeah.
Keith, Tennessee?
I got Tennessee, yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be close, I think, but Tennessee.
I think so, too. I think Mike Vrabel is kind of the X factor, if you will. He's such a good coach. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's unsung, man. I don't think he gets enough credit.
He does not. He should be coach of the year.
Used to be a Steeler, by the way.
Yes, he
Way
did.
back when.
All right, we got the 40. The 40. Actually, the 49ers are the only road team to win. I did not point that out earlier. The only road team to win versus the Packers. The Packers are 5.5-point favorites. Over-under is 47.5 points, which is surprising. I thought it'd be a little more. This is a rematch from Week 3 where they scored 58 points combined, 30-28. The Packers sacked Jimmy G 4 times in that game. Got after his ass. What do y'all think about this game? What's your predictions? What's going down?
Jimmy G literally can't throw a pick. If he turns the ball over even once, it's done.
Got to play a perfect game?
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
What's a perfect game for Jimmy G though? 200 yards and a touchdown. No. I mean,
Debo,
no
Debo
turnover.
racking,
right?
Debo racking it up.
I mean, because if Jimmy G has, it's one of those games where if Jimmy G's got 302 touchdowns, I think they're down a lot. Right? I mean, because they're going to have 30, 35 carries. They're not going to want him. And it's nothing even against Jimmy G. It's just how their team's built.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. No, you're right, Keith. I would say less is more with Jimmy G's numbers. The Packers should be getting back Jair Alexander and Zadarius Smith. Jair Alexander is probably the second best, if not the best corner in the NFL. Obviously, he's coming back from a long-term injury, so that he might be limited in his snaps. And then Zadarius Smith is the best pass rusher in Green Bay. David Bakhtiari may be back. I saw kind of like a 50-50 report on that. So Green Bay is already this good, and they're getting back 3 legitimate stars. Green Bay wins this game. I think it's a very close game. Close game.
Did Nick Bosa get hurt over the week or during the Cowboy game?
Yes, he got a concussion. He didn't come. So that's another thing too, man. If you'd have told me Nick Bosa missed 3/4 of that game, I'd have been like, "Oh, the Cowboys win that." No, he got a concussion. Not sure if he's actually going to be able to pass concussion protocol to play in this game. I can take a look really quick.
If he doesn't play, like, what's Aaron Rodgers going to do to them?
303.
I mean, that's his baseline, right? I mean, his average game is 302, like for a career, basically.
Yeah. That's why I led with Jimmy G better not throw a single pick.
Well, they're going to have to.
Aaron Rodgers
this is one of those games where you've got to take the air out of the ball. You've got to go the old school, like Bill Cowher. If you get up by 14, now you're grinding it out. Like, you may get 40 rushes between. Who knows who's going to get them, but there'll be a ton to give.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Packers in this game. What do y'all think?
It's gonna be cold as hell too.
Yeah,
cold as hell.
I got Packers.
I think the Packers are just, to me. Well, we can talk about that later, but the Packers are good. Put it that way.
Jeez.
We got the Rams versus the Bucks. The Bucks are a 3-point favorite. Over under is 48.5. Tristan Wirfs is in a boot after his injury. It's as of a report yesterday. And then the center Ryan Jensen also went down with an injury on Sunday or Saturday, whenever they played. But he did come back and end up playing the rest of the game. So that's a little scary that you might have 2 hobbled offensive linemen when you're playing against freaking playoff Von Miller and Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd, I think, is the other guy.
Yeah.
Right? The other guy? Yeah. Anyways, so who do y'all think wins this game? Because I think this one's a lot closer.
I actually have the Rams. They beat them earlier in the year.
I do too.
Normally, I would say this is where Brady gets revenge on that loss. But the line, it's like you said, whenever you have Aaron Donald involved, literally, I mean, look at last year's top 100. They said your number 1 player is Tom Brady, your number 2 player is Aaron Donald, right? So you have Aaron Donald in the line, you're not healthy, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
Well, I think I read that Tom Brady was getting rid of the ball in like 2.1 second average, like the whole day.
Something ridiculous.
Well, that was like, I don't know if that was necessity or design, but it will be a necessity this weekend. Mm-hmm. And I don't know with just Gronk and just Mike Evans. Like, if you told me they still had non-crazy Antonio Brown or Chris Godwin, I'm like, okay, they can handle that. Jalen Ramsey on Mike Evans,
That's a problem.
Mike Evans is still going to get his, but it won't be. He's not taking you down the field especially he's kind of dinged up anyway. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't see them being able to put up the amount of points it's going to take to hang with the Rams if the Rams are playing like the Rams played Monday.
Right.
Agreed. I mean, honestly, it's all dependent on Matt Stafford. Which version of him shows up? Is it going to be let me throw 2 pick sixes in the first quarter and just let me Jameis Winston this thing? I think that Sean McVay's not going to allow that to happen. Personally, I think they're going to run the hell out of the ball. Once again, as I said last week, I think that Tampa Bay run defense gets a lot of accolades from how it played earlier in the season. It really hasn't been that dominant.
Recently, it's been pretty bad.
Exactly. So, and Sean McVay, like everybody says, oh my God, he's a genius, and he might be. He'll run the hell out of it. Like, that's what I like about him. If something's working, he's going to keep doing it.
Right.
So I've got the Rams in this too, guys. Like, I called them last week. I'm calling them again. I really like this Rams team.
Yep.
So are we all in agreement so far?
Yep.
What a bunch of trash. Maybe this is going to be the one. Us. The Bills versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs are actually a 2-point favorite, so our closest spread, and then our highest over-under at 54.5, surprising absolutely no one. Who do y'all got? I like to see the AFC guys here with the vitriol and the hatred.
I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and you got to knock out the champ and this and that. But man, can you stop Buffalo if they're playing like they played last week? New England has they're not world beaters on defense, but they were good.
Yeah,
they look like children. Like Josh Allen he was just throwing people around. It was ridiculous. If they're playing anywhere close to how they can play, I just don't see how the Chiefs can match them. Especially if you can, like Tyreek's kind of been taken out here recently. I know it didn't matter against the Steelers because they got holes everywhere, but Buffalo's defense is pretty nice.
Yeah. Agreed. Jason, what you think?
So this is my honest opinion on this. I hate when people say in the Super Bowl era because I don't give a shit about anything outside of the Super Bowl era. So as far as I'm
it happened
concerned,
pre-1960, it didn't happen.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, the Buffalo Bills played the first perfect game in NFL history on offense. And they did it against probably the most respected defensive mind in NFL history on defense. I am terrified of them, and I won't put anyone above them until I see them play again. That was horrific. I'm a Belichick guy. What the fuck? How do you do that? That was crazy. I was literally in awe the entire time. So I'm scared of it.
And wouldn't it have been different if, like, just from the beginning, Mac Jones was throwing pick sixes and all? It wasn't that. It was just normal play, normal offense, normal defense. But when they had to punt, Buffalo just could not be stopped. Like, I've never seen that. I've never seen a team not be slowed down any. I mean, even Pittsburgh had a pick six against Mahomes last week. Like, they played a little defense. New England, it's like they were running 7-on-7 no pass rush drills. It was ridiculous.
It's like when you take the difficulty down to rookie on Madden because you want your franchise, like you want that quarterback you chose in the second round to get his stats up. That's what it was. And actually, I don't think we're going to split it all. I thought someone was going to take the Chiefs. I'm going to break it down like this. Right now, Josh Allen is better than Patrick Mahomes. I would say he's playing better than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has not played well, really. Okay, Patrick Mahomes is held to a little different standard than everyone else, as he should be because he's got a baseball contract. So he should be held to a different standard. Buffalo's defense is much better. Buffalo's defense is quite a bit better than Kansas City's. Their playmakers right now are freaking better than Kansas City's. Kansas City's been stopped all year by that too high safety look on defense. Do you think Sean McDermott is not going to notice that and do that? It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game, but give me the Bills.
This
Give
is also a revenge game.
Yes, exactly, because they knocked him out. Was it last year?
It was
They knocked him
last
out of
year.
the AFC
Yeah.
Championship.
Exactly.
I think the third time is the charm for Josh Allen. Well, we could talk about that next week. Who's getting to the Super Bowl? Actually, shit,
Jason,
man.
do you want to see either one of these teams? I mean, right?
He's like, can the
dude,
Steelers come
I've
back?
been there. I know exactly how you feel. It's like, God, somebody's got to win, and then a plane's got to crash.
They got to pull a Leonard Skinner in here.
I'm fucking terrified. No doubt.
All right, cool. All right, so 4 for 4 then. Shoot. So that would have Buffalo and Tennessee and Green Bay and Los Angeles. I think those would be phenomenal conference championship games.
It would be.
I mean, offense out the wazoo. Is
Yeah.
Julio Jones healthy, Jason?
He is.
So they're coming with their full complement.
About
I mean,
time.
healthy. For Julio Jones, healthy is just like, did he crack his sciatica coming out of bed this morning?
Yeah.
Like, is he okay?
Like
Yeah.
he still has hamstrings. We don't know if they work.
The severity to which they're pulled at this very moment.
And Julio Jones, man, that's been another thorn in my side all year.
Well, hey, this was fun, guys. I appreciate y'all going a little longer than we normally do. We had a lot of. I mean, I love the side tangent conversations, and I'm actually wrote a couple of these things down to expand upon next time, especially during the off season, if you will. I want to do some fun pods. Not to say this wasn't fun; it was okay. You guys are all right. Jason,
fine.
you not so much, but
Fuck.
Jason, you got anything to say?
Oh, I said
Before
it
we
all.
go,
I said it all. I said it all in the beginning.
Hell
And
yeah.
God bless. You know, I never thought I'd do this, but here we are. God bless Ben Roethlisberger. As another large man, I say, you are a true king. Sail off in the sunset. Please don't come back on some other team because you're not going to be any good.
Who's going to sign him at this
I don't
point,
know.
right? I mean, it can't.
Houston.
It just can't happen.
If he goes to play with Houston,
Fine, go.
that's the saddest thing I think I've
I mean,
ever seen.
I got no problem with General Mills, man. He needs to.
Oh, General Mills.
I like letting him hang out.
Oh, man.
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
he's got to go, man. He's
No.
tarnishing the legacy with every pass he throws.
Yes. All right, fellas. It's been fun. I appreciate it, Keith. We appreciate you coming on, man. We
Absolutely.
got to have you on here more often,
Yes.
especially with
Thanks
that
for having
roaring
me, guys. I
fire you got
appreciate
in
it.
the background. Is that a
It's
real fire?
natural.
No, God, no. That's YouTube, baby.
Oh, is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. It honestly
That's
looks
just-
like a fireplace.
I've got a 60-inch TV in front of the basement fireplace because I'm not building any fires. I'm barely a man. So if I want a fire,
That's perfect. Your
Yeah.
Fantastic Four thing would be it would just be disintegrated. Hey, I appreciate it, y'all. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. Jay, appreciate the questions and the comments there. We'll see y'all again next week, next Tuesday. We're going to be doing the same thing, reviewing divisional round, previewing the conference championships, and it's going to be a blast. So for Jason, for Keith, we are your fantasy friends. Stay safe, and y'all be good. We out of here.